Shirley.
She's coming. Oh, she's here.
Rivka.
Rivka's here. She's here.
Nina. Shirley. Roz. Carol Silverman. Okay, Abby. Abby. Ayan. Shoshana. Rosie.
Rosie's here. She just left out the bathroom.
Now, let's see, who did I miss? Anyone? Okay, no. So, Sarah. And you're visiting?
Huh?
Are you visiting? Or?
No, I just moved this car, so I didn't.
Okay, so your name is?
Libby.
Libby. So we're on page 91. You have the book back of you. There's so we have as the for the Mishkan, what was done in the Mishkan as a major part of the preparation for the building of the house of Hashem. So all of this could be done in the weekday, and anything that is a part of the 39 categories are forbidden on Shabbos. So you have the first 11 steps is producing the dye, and that included what we learned already is preparing the ground for planting, then planting, putting the seeds in the ground to get herbs. Now, after things has grown, whatever is forbidden to plant is considered planting, is forbidden to remove, and that's called kotzer. Kotzer is reaping. In page 91, we see a reaper, a sickle. So that is when we're speaking about cutting the plants. Over here it would be wheat, or the same would be with the herbs. And then we have some are done with a special tool, which is called a sickle. And then there are different ways of removing things from its place of growth. And that would be, what are other ways? Instead of using a special tool, a sickle, there are other ways of removing things from place of growth. That is a normal way. So we have, how do we remove fruit? We pick them. So it's not with a special tool, we're picking them. That is also included in this malacha. Then, has anyone seen how olives are removed from the tree? They have a special machine that attaches to the tree and it vibrates. They place tarps underneath the tree, olives in particular, and it vibrates the tree, and as it's shaking so strongly, what happens to all the olives? They fall off. That is, you wouldn't do that to an orange tree, but to the olives, that is how it's done. So therefore, shaking a branch in order for the fruit to fall, if this is its normal way, that would be the malacha. So it's either doing it by a special tool, either manually picking it, or shaking it for it to fall down. And the same thing would also be when we are pulling out grass. There we pull it out. So all of these is the normal way how it's done, and all of this is a malacha Torah prohibition. Now, whatever is considered planting is also removing it from its place of growth, goes into this category. So when we spoke about planting, it was not only in the earth. What were other ways of planting that goes into this category?
Like pots. Like if you
Okay,
have a
put it
pot.
in, putting in a pot. If it's a pot that has a hole, it's over the earth, getting its nourishment from the earth in some way. So that is called planting. Taking it from a table, putting it on the ground, on the earth, that is called planting, even though it's already growing in the flower pot. But putting it now on the ground, where it's getting its nourishment also from the ground, that is called planting. Removing this flower pot and putting it on the table, that would be picking. Another thing, what was else that we discuss about something that is being planted? In addition to a flower pot, what other, in addition to putting something in the ground, what was another way that we, putting it into water, where we had our avocado seed, putting that into water, beans, had beans sprouting. All of this is considered planting. The same would also be, you have hydroponics. Hydroponics is planting something in a certain type of liquid that has its minerals inside. What is actually done is they have, in particular, they have lettuce that is grown hydroponically. So they have them, they don't grow in the ground, they grow them in a medium of some type of liquid. So that's called planting. Removing it from its place of growth, that it would be also, so if it's there for growing, removing it, that would be also the malacha of removing something from its place of growth. So we spoke about planting. We said, what about if you're keeping it in water, not to sprout, but rather to keep it fresh? We said that was, are you allowed to take it out of the water? You're keeping vegetables in water in order to keep it fresh. It shouldn't wilt. But you're not trying to plant, you're not trying to get roots. You're just trying to keep it fresh. So putting it into the water, we said was permissible, and therefore taking it out of the water would also be permissible because it's not a place of growth. It does not have roots. It's not your intention. You're just there to keep it fresh. And therefore removing it from there, it's not removing something from its place of growth, but rather taking it from its, like taking it from the refrigerator, you're taking it from the bowl with the water inside. And therefore, what about the flowers in a vase? Would that be a Torah prohibition to remove the flowers from the vase that's with water?
Yeah.
But are the flowers rooting? Are they intended to root? Why are they in the water? To keep them, and then keep them fresh. It's not there. We're not trying to get them rooted, and then we're going to put them in a flower pot or put them in the earth. We're just there to, so they shouldn't wilt, they shouldn't fresh. So therefore, but technically, should you do it or not, that's a different. We're not going into that. We're just seeing taking the flowers out of the vase would not go into this category because it's not there to root. It's not rooting. It's not there to keep them to the place of growth. Therefore, this would not go into that category. Question. Someone raised their hand for a question. Okay, so this is, so again, if something is there for its place of growth, see the avocado seed, even though it didn't root yet, but it's there to root. It's there to make it into a growth. Therefore, that would be considered that it's its place of growth. Now, we have another, so it's not necessarily in the earth that is considered growing, but any place that it's a medium, that it's promoting growth, that is growing, that's called planting, and removing it, it's removing it from its place of growth, that would be a Torah prohibition. So we spoke about having something in the earth, something in a flower pot, something in water, and something also in a medium of type of chemicals, liquid chemicals that also promote growth. Then there's also something that grows, that its normal place of growth, and that would be mushrooms. Mushrooms do not necessarily grow from the earth. They get their nourishment from the air, and they attach themselves to something that keeps them growing. Sometimes they'll attach themselves to a tree, trunk of a tree. Anyone see mushrooms grow?
Yeah.
Sometimes they pop up from the ground. And then other ways, where else do you see them grow in addition to the ground? Where's there? It's when mushrooms would pop up. Anyone? Mushrooms? I've seen them growing from tree trunks. But what else would so even though it's not in the ground, removing it from its place of growth would be removing something, it would be going to this category. So removing mushrooms from its place of growth, even though it's not growing from the ground, from the earth, still it's growing from something else also that would be included. When you have a boat that's on shore, that's there for a long time, what would usually happen to the boats? It would be covered with moss. Moss growing from these mediums is a normal place of growth. So it's as if it's in the ground, has the same status. Removing the moss from its place of growth, whether it's on the base of a ship or on rocks, when you go to places where it's moist, you have the moss that's growing. Removing the moss is a Torah prohibition because that's its normal place of growth. So anything that is normal place of growth, removing it from its place and it's growing, moving it from a place of growth is the Torah prohibition. Now, there are rabbinic safeguards. And the safeguard is that if you're going to do Act 1, it might lead you to Act 2. And if Act 2 is a total prohibition, they said don't do Step 1. So we have now two situations, and tell me which is, if they're both forbidden or they're both permissible. And that is, you go out into your orchard, and there are beautiful fruits that are growing on the tree. Are you allowed to smell the fruits?
No,
Why?
because then you can pick them.
That's right. The fruit usually are there not for decoration, not to enhance your orchard, it's there for eating. And therefore, one might forget that it's Shabbat, such a juicy looking fruit, one might pick it. So therefore, the safeguard is not to smell the fruit that are growing on Shabbos. Now you go to botanical gardens, and there are so many beautiful flowers growing. Are you allowed to smell the flowers?
Yes. I want to say yes, because especially if you're in a botanical garden, you're not picking the flowers anyway because of the place you're in.
That's correct. The answer is you are permitted to smell the flowers, but before you do so, you should make a bracha. There is a bracha before we smell something that is fragrant, a natural fragrance. There's a bracha beforehand. This you will learn in your other classes, where there are actually three. There's a bracha. Moel bin Ipsamim is the general bracha, just like shahakol is the general bracha for all types of foods. Even if you made that, you didn't know what bracha to make, and you made a shahakol, you're covered no matter what it was. Even if you were eating bread and you made a shahakol, you're also covered on the shahakol. So Moel bin Ipsamim, who created types of fragrance, this is a generic bracha for everything. However, if you have learned, you know the particular categories. Did anyone learn the brachas for fragrances? So we'll leave that for another class. There is the plant-like fragrance. It's called isveip somim. Baruch by the isveip, so grass-like fragrances. Then there is something that is tree-like. A rose would go into that category. The definition of a tree is not the same as a bower tree or H, but something that has its own form stalk. So that would be Bailei Atzep Samim, blessing of those who make tree-like fragrance. And then there is, if you smell a fruit, Asher Nasan Reach Taiv Baperes, who gave a beautiful scent in fruit. So you have three individual categories, and then you have this class. So again, you're going to botanical gardens on Shabbos. You'll have to go there, enjoy the scene, smell the Smell the flowers that are there. But even in the weekdays, do not pick any flowers because someone is hiding behind a tree and jumps out at you and says, "You picked the flower." Oh, it becomes a tragedy. It becomes. I was there once with my children, and we were learning about the different types of leaves. And I took from an elm tree that has, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of leaves. And I picked the leaves so the children could have for their collection. And someone jumped out from behind the tree and started screaming, "Why did you pick that leaf?" Oh, it became a big tragedy. But anyway, so being there, you would not pick any of this. Anyway, so now we have, so as far as smelling, the fruit is, in Shabbos, it's a safeguard not to smell the fruit that's growing on a tree on Shabbos. You could smell the fruit. Now, just a side thing is, if you smell the fruit to see if it's ripe, you would not make a bracha. It's only if you're trying to enjoy the fragrance of the fruit. Some people will take a melon or a cantaloupe. You want to see if it's ripe or not. You smell it. You would not make a bracha beforehand because that's not your purpose. Just a side.
Just smelling any flower, it doesn't have to be, I mean, just walking down the street.
If you actually no, if you make your, you make
it's okay
an
on
effort,
Shabbos.
make an effort. No, anytime when you make an effort, you to enjoy the fragrance, you make a bracha.
No, I'm saying you can smell a flower, any flower, anywhere on
Yeah.
Shabbos.
Yes. Not only botanical garden. I just use that as an example. In your anywhere where it's growing in your own garden, whatever it may be.
So before you smell, you say the bracha?
What?
Before you smell?
Before you smell it, you make a bracha. Yes.
Okay. בורא מנגד תמיד?
Yes. Okay. Now, a next item that we are concerned about is handling something or climbing something that has things that are growing, and we're concerned you might forget it Shabbos and pick it. And that would include a tree. So now with a tree, you cannot climb a tree on Shabbos. Once you're on top of the tree, you might start picking whatever is there. And with a tree, it seems that there was something that was made many safeguards with the tree. So let's take step by step. Are you allowed to touch a tree? Tree that's growing on Shabbos, are you allowed to touch it? What's the issue?
You might.
Muktzah. It's muktzah. So muktzah means something that is put aside that cannot make use of on Shabbos. So on Shabbos, on this pen on Shabbos is muktzah. This is muktzah on Shabbos. This is muktzah on Shabbos. All these items that are used for forbidden activities are muktzah on Shabbos.
The tree is muktzah.
So the tree is muktzah.
Why?
Because you cannot climb a tree, and therefore they say the tree is out of bounds. Now, what could and can you not do with something that's muktzah? Can you touch muktzah?
No. Yeah. Yes, if it's like.
Yes or no? I got a yes and I got a no. What?
Only if you need to.
But it depends.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now we're speaking about something that it's going to remain where it is. You're not going to remove it. We're not going into now moving it. We're just speaking about touching it.
No.
So you have now. Let's give you an example. You have the tray. You have your candles, the lachta, the candlesticks that are there for Shabbos. It's on a tray. Once it's on a tray, the tray is serving the candlesticks. So therefore, now the tray has the same status as the candlesticks themselves. Now, can you touch the tray?
No.
And the answer is, if it will not move. Now, usually when muktzah is being taught, we say don't touch muktzah. But that's not the technical answer. The technical answer is don't touch muktzah that might move. So, for instance, you have your stove. It's muktzah. Your wash machine is muktzah. Your toaster oven is muktzah. Are you allowed to touch it?
No.
And the answer is as long as it's not going to move. If it's balanced well, when you touch your stove, it doesn't shake and move. When you touch your toaster oven that's turning sturdy, it doesn't shake and move. When you're touching your candles, the tray under the candlesticks, when you touch it, it's not going to move. So technically, so again, when we teach children, we tell them not to touch muktzah because they will not differentiate between touching the pan that is going to move when I touch it or touching the candle, the tray. So we just give a blanket thing, but that's the technical thing is that anything that is not going to move, even though it's a forbidden item, you're allowed to touch it.
So we can touch in tree.
Okay, now, what I said, what was the condition? That it's not going to move. So it matters what kind of tree it is. If it's a tree that's a sapling, a very a light tree, I'm going to touch it, it's going to shake. It's going to move, I can't touch it. But if it's a solid tree, then I am allowed to touch it. But now we say you cannot put your weight on, the full weight on the tree. The tree cannot support you. So even though it's not going to move, it's a big oak tree, you're sitting in your garden and you have a tree and you want to read from the parsha and you want to sit next to the tree and you want to lean against the tree for support so you can be nice and comfortable. Are you allowed to do that on Shabbos? No, so unless if they take away the tree, you would still be sitting. You're not putting your full weight on it. If you put your full weight on something, they'll take it away, you're going to fall.
But if the tree is a big solid.
I know, but what happens when they say technically if it would have been taken away? So you can't put your full support on it. So let's take, for instance, you're walking on Shabbos and you have a pebble in your shoe. Yes? So what do? We try to shake out the pebble. How are we going to do that? By removing your shoe. Now it matters how well balanced you are. So you have your tree next to you, and you want to sort of balance yourself. And in order to take off your shoe, shake it out. Am I allowed to put my hand on the tree? Again, it has to be strong enough that it's not going to shake. Number two is I am not putting my full weight on it. That if you were to take away the tree, I would fall. I'm just putting it there to balance. So even if the tree were to be taken away, I'd still be standing. So then I'm allowed to put my hand on the tree, take off my shoe, shake it out, and put my shoe back on. So this is, again, I'm making use, I'm not putting that, so the definition of making use of the tree is putting your full weight on the tree. That is considered making use of a tree on Shabbos. So number one, I cannot climb the tree. Number two, I cannot put my full weight on the tree. Now, it seemed trees were something that was a very big concern, and they made so many safeguards when it comes to the tree. Not only are you not allowed to climb a tree, you're also not allowed to make use of anything that is a part of the tree. For instance, you have a branch of the tree, and you're in a garden where that's enclosed, so there's no issue of carrying. We're not going into the carrying studies, right? That's a place that's closed, everything is fine. Question is, it is a summer day, and you're wearing a jacket, and you want to put your jacket somewhere, and there's a nice low branch, and you want to hang it over the branch. Are you allowed to do that on Shabbos? No. You're not allowed to make use of the tree. Not only can you not put your jacket over the branch, even if it was there before Shabbos, you're not allowed to take it off. So now you have not making use of the tree directly by not putting anything on the tree or off the tree. Not only that, but also we go a step further. Now, again, I said when we're coming to the trees, we're we make many different safeguards. So now what happens now let's think, instead of now a jacket, we're going to speak now about a basket. The same things with our jacket. So now we have a basket. Could we put the basket on the branch? No. Could we take the basket off the branch? No. Could we put something into the basket on Shabbos?
On the branch?
Yes.
The basket is on the branch, and you want to put something into the basket on Shabbos, and the answer is no. Not only can you not put something on the branch, if something on the branch is also there, you cannot make use of that as well. So now let's go back to your jacket. Your jacket is on the branch from before Shabbos, and it happens to have tissues inside. Again, this is a place where you can carry, no issue with that. Can you take a tissue out of the pocket that's on the branch on Shabbos? No, because now your jacket became a part of the branch. Whatever you can't do with the branch, you can't do with the jacket that's on your branch. Now, we have now, back to our tree, we have now a hook on the tree. So the hook is the same as our basket. The hook is the same as our jacket. Can you put something on the hook on Shabbos? No, just like you can't put something, you can't put anything in the basket on Shabbos. You can't put anything in the hook on Shabbos. If something is already on the hook and you take it off, also not. It's the same. So our hook and our basket is the same. You can't put a basket on the branch. You can't put a hook on the branch on the tree. You can't take anything, put something into the basket. You can't put something onto the hook. You can't take something out of the basket. You can't take something off the hook. Okay, we're there. Now, if there was a hook before Shabbos and you put something onto the hook before Shabbos, what about that? Could you make use of that? And the answer is yes. So here we have now a swing. Can you use a swing on Shabbos? So number one matters how strong the swing is. Is the branch going to shake when you're going to be sitting on the swing? So that's number one thing. If it's going to shake, then you can't use it because you're moving the branch. Now, if there was a hook on the tree, and onto the hook you put on the swing. So it's now you have the tree, the hook, and a swing that was put on. Now the swing and the hook are two separate units. You first put on the hook, and then you put on the swing before Shabbos. This is all before Shabbos. If the hook was attached to the chain that was on the swing, then the chain and the hook are all one. You can't make use of it. It's only if the hook is there. If you make it, you have to make it step by step. First put on the hook. So the hook is now independent. Now you put the chain onto the hook. It's all before Shabbos. It's independent. And now it's such that it's a strong tree. It's not going to shake. Now you could use the swing on Shabbos. Because you're making use of it. You're not taking the swing off the hook on Shabbos. You're not putting it on the hook on Shabbos. But you have the tree, the hook, the chain with the swing together. And
But
then you
you're
can
putting your
you-
weight, no?
You're putting your weight on the hook.
So did you say you could take a coat off the hook if it was?
No, you can't put, I don't know if you can't do that on the hook itself. You can't take anything on and off.
But
You
there's
can
a
make use of it.
hanger, there's a
Huh?
hanger on the hook and a coat
Yeah,
on the
that's
hanger.
good.
You
You
could
can
take it
take yes. So here again, you have the hook, you have a hanger, you have a jacket on the hanger, you can take your jacket off. Now, the same thing would also be with a hammock. Do you know what a hammock is? Okay, everyone knows what it is? Okay, so again, you could use a hammock on Shabbos. So again, it matters how it's put up. Matters again the weight. The tree is going to in any way shake, not going to shake. You put on a hook, put the rope, everything before Shabbos. Now you can sit and relax and do the parsha. Okay. Now we have fruit that fell off the tree on Shabbos. Can you make use of the fruit that fell off the tree?
If they,
Yeah.
Or in your backyard.
Your backyard, yeah, it's all enclosed, it's not an issue of carrying.
Yeah.
But
If
when
it
did it
fell
fall
off
off?
on
It fell off on Shabbos, right? So anything that was attached to the tree when Shabbos began is a part of the tree. If it falls off, then you cannot make use of it, even though you
What if
didn't
was
pick
on the
it.
floor
Hmm?
Already from before Shabbos.
From before Shabbos, and
It's fine.
you can't gather it, that's a different story. You take one by one. Gathering is a different issue. We'll come to the malach of gathering. Okay. So any fruit that was growing during Shabbos, if it fell off on Shabbos, it is muktzah, it is put aside. We cannot make use of it because you're going to make use against a rabbinic safeguard. You're going to make use of the fruit that fell off on Shabbos. You might forget and see the ones that are on the ground, not too good. You're going to try a better one that's growing and nicer. So again, with trees, they were very strict about trees. See, I don't know if there are as many safeguards as this when it comes to trees, as there's so much so. If we look on page 95, what about a tree trunk? You just have the trunk. The tree was cut off. And you just have the trunk, and you sit on the trunk. So it depends how high it is from the ground. So if it's approximately 9 inches from the ground, then it's considered a tree trunk and you cannot sit on it. If it's lower than 9 inches, then it's a part of the ground. Can you sit on the ground on Shabbos?
Yes.
Yes. Can you sit on the grass?
Yes.
Yes. Can we walk on grass?
Yes.
Should you try and avoid it?
Hmm?
Should you?
Well, no. It is recommended if you are, again, a place where you can carry, it's not an issue. It's best if you put down, a blanket, sit on that, because some people play with the grass when they're out in the grass, they start playing with it.
So sure.
And one might forget that it's Shabbos, and so for that, it would be recommended to have a blanket. It's nice to have outside.
Is there something about walking on grass when you're wearing high heels?
Oh, not so over there. It's two separate issues.
Okay.
Two separate issues. So one issue is about walking on grass. So walking on grass, we said, is permissible. Yes, you can walk on grass. 1 second. Now, what happens if the grass is tall grass and it is all intertwined one with the other, where in the weekdays you have to sort of break through in order to make your own path. There are places that are already a path. Then there are places where the grass grew so that they're intertwined. And during the weekdays, when you're trying to get through, you really have to break your way through the grass. And what you're doing while you're doing so, you are uprooting the grass. So doing that on Shabbos, since you know that that's what's going to happen, so you should not walk in that direction. You should walk on a path that's already been cleared. You can enjoy your walk. We'll also learn at a later time how far you can walk in the country after a place of habitation. There's a limit. You can walk about a half a mile in the country from the last building or last place that's fenced off, in the bungalow colony, whatever it may be. So you're limited how far you can walk when there's no habitation at all. That's a separate issue. So it's about 2,000 amas, 2,000 cubits, which the cubit is about approximately 1.5 to 2 feet. So we'll take the smaller bits. It's about close to about a half a mile you can walk. Usually, if you are in the country, they would have a stake in place that people beforehand would sort of tell you how far you could. Till here is your walking place, but that's a separate issue. But so walking in grass is fine. Even if you find that when you come to the end of your journey, you see that there is grass on your shoes or on your whatever you were wearing. There's grass there. Did you go against a prohibition of uprooting something? So it's not a prohibition because
Wasn't your intention.
Was not your intention. It wasn't something that was definite for every step that you're going to take. You're going to be uprooting. So it's fine. You don't have to do tshuva for it. You don't have to avoid doing it the next time. You could just continue to walk in that place. And if grass does come out, it's incidental. We do not take that into consideration because that's not your intention. And it's not something, it's not a psikresh, it's not something that's definitely going to happen. Now, what do we do with the grass? The grass is muktzah. It was uprooted on Shabbos. It's muktzah. So you cannot take and remove the grass with your hand because you can't do that. So what you do is get rid of the grass by scrubbing it off, shaking it off, all the different things that you would do, but not manually, do that in a backward way. This is an extension to your hand. So you'd have to do it in a way that's going to be not the normal way. So you get rid of the grass. Now, as far as this class is concerned, I don't know your backgrounds of how much you know already. Is this something that the way I'm teaching now? Is this something information that you know already? I know you seem to have gone through Hilchos Shabbos beforehand. Yes.
Me?
Yeah.
Just from being with
Yeah.
my,
Yes.
just being on.
I thought you studied that, took a class on this. Because you have the right answers. Okay, so as I'm teaching now, I can continue teaching this one. So I'm looking at the knowledge of the classes. Some people feel that they know this all and everything else. Is this something that this is fine? Because so sometimes sometimes you underestimate a class, sometimes you overestimate a class. It has to be the right balance. So what we're doing now, we're going through the book. It's fine. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so have a wonderful day. So it's nice if you read ahead of it. So we're going to do gathering and threshing is going to be, we're going to do both of them. And threshing is a major malacha. Many different details and are there. So I would recommend reading from page 99 through 117 because there's so much information there. Okay. Shirley is. Okay, Shirley. Okay, I just want to say. Rivka is there. Peggy Sarah is okay. Shiraz is here. Oh, Abby is Abby. Demayan next, and Rosie is here. Okay, I'm just looking. So Libby, yes. It's not instant coffee, so you have to prepare this essence. Prepare before Shabbos. So but you cannot. You have this ground coffee. This ground coffee. So it would have to be the clean machine. Wait until it shouldn't be boiling hot. It's cooking.
I wish there was a question.
Hair in the knee.
Hair.
Hair, how's hair?
Yes.
How they got me?
In the
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So what's your language? Your English is
Get rid of it.
2
You understand what
appointments and 1 gel.
today?
I know.
Reading your regular. You understand what you're reading? No, that's what it is. You just look at what it is. There's 99 to 117. Beautiful hands, whatever it is. None of it is.
You don't really get it.
Thank you.
So you are.
She's the one who you're
Also from.
I'm from Argentina.
Everyone, we're gonna have a guest speaker tomorrow, yes, the last class. Rabbi Baras.
Tom?
I'm going to start from 2 to 3.
No, like
Well, the moment of time is for yours. Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's go. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't want to do it.
I have a cold.
I also because she has the song. 7-1. Both minutes class and like. Yes, and do you know?
Everything first, you know? Okay.
I was fine.
I just have.
No, I'm just-
Around here, I can do.
Really?
Warm things also.
Yeah, I can't
Way more than that.
Nothing
Yeah.
tastes good.
Cause you're just like.
Yeah, and it's been like
Right.
this since like
Today is
October.
November.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it was really fucking nice.
Yeah.
I never did stage.
You know, it's coming.
Yeah, I forgot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ours is something that's-
What's my jeans like?
Then
Oh,
good.
good.
We only put out only for like one color and then it's fine.
You kind of just.
What am I gonna do?
Unless you
You
do
can
regular
just
gel.
No,
Yeah,
but
maybe you can know me at all. It seems so. I need so sweet. How it's going? Action? No. Action? You know, action? Action? Action. You never will say action. What is this? Action is something different. Action, you know? Like for example, when it's from the movie, like someone brought to the you know?
Did you see that? No, I swear, finish that you made to shoot like they want to make it look like a thing.
Oh, he's the conversation.
I couldn't hear, I was hoping this because I want to do it from like actually getting from.
I know, why don't we?
Well, can we do it later? Because I don't know.
What is better, what is better?
No, but that's not.
I don't know.
And you can't change.
How do you get on?
You should do it. I need to push it. No, what's in the labels?
What is the shortage?
I mean, for sure, how like. For sure, how right?
Where'd you guys do it?
No.
Yeah, but when we were just walking, something like that.
Yeah.
I like this baby.
So funny with the side, like.
It's actually,
I like.
I just worked on my maple muffin.
you know what is actually?
Yeah.
Okay. Вестина, что ты такой платье. Там она написала, что уже информация.
You need the passion of the conversation, that's what you mean.
No, tell me the same. Yeah. Maple. Это просто.
I have a request.
Like, actually, more of a question. Adrenaline. No, yes. My anyway. Like at home, it's not good adrenaline. Yeah. Just feeling yes. Take another action. Do you have a quiet way? They are up to the waiting. Not this time. I still think it's processing. So yesterday, not this time. Like, no. I'm like, I was my phone in the bed. But I can see that I'm really. Yeah, but I'm gonna say I'm even saying that. She didn't say me. She just feel it. Wow. Maybe. Really? I feel it. Wow. Yeah, I don't feel love lately. Okay, it's not on me, so what I said. That's hard to take. Living just for the beat. The beat? What is that? What is the boss? You know what is the boss? No. No. Oh, Marianne. Te fejka czy źle? No postawiłam tutaj. What? I don't feel like so it's fejka. Come, Marianne, come. I need to pray. No. Where have you been? I just want to start talking. I'm not serious. Can you get that? Should every time save me from failures. You're just two sisters. Yeah, everyone's they're gonna text you. I know, I was texted yesterday. No. To change the site? Night, okay? No. Night. Listen, I don't know. Why? To say. I have no idea what you want to say. No, no, wait. Tu enxerga. Tu botão grande. Almost every day is because I saw one place